Pontesili, who accompanied the delegation while conveying the message of the Italian government, had told the Nigerian leader they are willing to cooperate with the federal government 100% on illicit assets repatriation. President Buhari, in a statement by the Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Gabashewu, commended the Italian government for demonstrating open-mindedness and willingness to cooperate with Nigeria on the issue of repatriation of stolen funds. The federal government has sued for oil companies, accusing them of not being transparent in reporting their production activities, engaging in under-remittance of taxes and oil and gas royalties, and in some cases, diverting such funds to private coffers. The companies sued at the Federal High Court Abuja are Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC), Nigerian Ajib Oil Exploration Company, Shell Petroleum Development Company, and Nigeria Petroleum Development Company. The companies are sued with their agents or assignees in the four suits before Justice John Shoshaw, but initiated by the Special Presidential Investigatory Panel on the Recovery of Public Property led by Okoye Obono Obla. The federal government has declared Wednesday, June 12, 2019 as public holiday to commemorate the maiden National Democracy Day. This is in line with the enactment into law of June 12 annually as Democracy Day in Nigeria. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior, Georgina Uria, congratulated all Nigerians at home and abroad for the entrenchment of democratic rule in the country. Uria called on Nigerians to continue to cherish the sacrifice made by heroes of democracy, particularly those who lost their lives in the struggle for the actualization of democratic governance in Nigeria in order to make the country a better place for all. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, have decried the state of the Nigerian economy. National President of ASU, Professor Biodun Ogunyemi, expressed this at a media conference after the union's national executive meeting in Port Harcourt. Professor Ogunyemi noted that the political and the ruling class have failed Nigerians in all sectors, emphasizing that the federal government's fight against corruption has lost its purpose.
The unemployed, the students, we are thinking it is time for us to come together and put pressure on the ruling class. You see, there is mass poverty, but the number of private jets are increasing, including in churches and mosques. So that's how to build a country. Over 70% cannot afford 2 square meals, but the number of private jets is daily increasing. It should worry all of us. Either they are in the political or in other sector, they are all together. And what that means is that there are even those who are taking from the poor to add to their own in order to oppress us further. So those who are in public positions, they are primary models. See the amount we spend on election. You cannot be a local councillor now without spending millions. Local government councillor, not to talk of state governors. State governors spend billions. Where do they get the money? How do they keep the money? They steal from us. And so that process must stop.
The ASU president also criticized the poor management of the social welfare scheme, adding that the political class should make the right policies and enforce them to avoid the revolution of the masses.
What belongs to the generality of the people have been shared among some few people, and that is what ASU is against. We need to redistribute wealth, because those who have this wealth, they will not be able to enjoy the wealth when there is general uprising of the poor. We've seen examples in what we call Arab Spring, Tunisia and other places, when the masses decided to say enough is enough. So it is in the interest of those who are ruling us to sit back and redesign a program that will lead to genuine wealth distribution. But we have seen that they cannot do it on their own, except some people put pressure to bear. And that is why ASU has decided to be part of that movement.
Correspondent Tanya Kenneth reports that ASU also said Nigeria's education system is losing value because of negligence on the part of government. The Nigerian Army has confirmed the killing of 9 social media personalities of the Islamic State for West African Province, ISWAP. Army Director of Public Relations, Colonel Sage Musa, who disclosed this in a statement, said the annihilation of members of the Boko Haram media team further confirmed that the Nigerian Army has decimated the group and they no longer have the freedom to act. Colonel Musa added that the terrorist group is known for its online media propaganda and quest to maintain a virtual caliphate. Some women from Alakai community in Obiako local government area of River State have staged a protest in the community over the arrest of their newly selected paramount ruler, Eze Vincent Igwe. Eze Igwe was selected last Friday after traditional consultations in the community, but was arrested early hours of Saturday by detectives from State Criminal Investigative Department. The woman who wore black attires as a sign of mourning said the protest is to draw the attention of the Rivers State Governor and the Inspector General of Police to what they claimed is an illegal arrest of a traditional ruler. The woman who called for the unconditional release of their traditional ruler said Eze Vincent Igwe was denied the right to fair hearing.
So the women are here calling government for peace because this is university environment. That's why we are singing peaceful demonstration here. We need our chief today. A lot of children from all states are here. All at a sudden they came early morning and carried this chief away and destroyed the man's house. A whole chief. They did not serve any paper for him to report. They just came in the night, just early hour of the morning, around 5, and jack him up. We are not happy.
The reason why we are on black today is for them to release Vincent because he's an innocent man. And all the allegations they lay on him, the women that have been ruling, is telling the government that those allegations are false. If Vincent is a humble man that everybody knows.
On his part, Udochi Igwe, who is the first son of the Eze, said the police have flouted the law.
I want to use this medium to call on the Rivers State government, the governor of Rivers State, to inform him of the injustice that is happening in Anakaya. They arrested my father on Saturday. Even if there is any court order, they are supposed to serve my dad paper. The Nigeria police came as a kidnapper to kidnap my dad without serving him any paper or inviting him. I want to use this medium to inform them that they should release my dad unconditionally. Otherwise, they will face the wrath of the community because the gods have chosen who their chief is.
The Rivers State Free Healthcare for Maternal and Child Health has experienced minor itches. While some beneficiaries lamented the lack of malaria drugs and mosquito-treated nets, it was observed that some dedicated centers for the free healthcare were not functional. Meanwhile, our correspondent reports that the one of the week-long exercise witnessed high turnout in some parts of the state. Some doctors and nurses in different health centers in Obiakpo expressed satisfaction with the process so far.
They are supposed to supply some things to us like the malaria test kit, the anti-malaria drug, nets and others. They just supply few things. So it's affecting the program because most of the people, they are here for malaria tests and to get the free malaria drug and nets. And those things are not supplied. I called my boss, he said that more things are coming. So, but people are here. But the people that are really benefiting are the pregnant women that are registered free.
Yes, it's starting today. The Maternal and Child Health Week started today, and there has been good responses, at least on the part of the mothers. And it's free for registration, and if any woman should also give birth this week, it is also free. So we are going to give them their antenatal drugs free today. We do HIV tests for them free after counseling too.
You're listening to the World News on Today 95.1 FM Voice of the People. After the break, more news, foreign and sports stories. Stay tuned.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today 95.1 FM.
95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
And we're back.
You're still listening to the World News on Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People. Welcome back, and now, the rest of the news. A committee has been set up by the River State House of Assembly to examine the issues of sea pirates' attack on the Billy waterways in Digima local government area. The committee is headed by the lawmaker representing Gokana constituency, Dumle Mao. The decision of the Assembly followed a petition by the lawmaker representing Digima constituency, Anthony Subereka, over the issues of insecurity on the Billy waterways.
This petition is about the sea pirate attack on the Bile Port Harcourt water route that has been on in the last 2 weeks. Mr. Speaker, as I speak to you, the people of Bile Town cannot travel. From the petition, prayers are as follows. The Amayanbo in Council, chiefs and the entire Bile Kingdom, therefore, passionately call on your good office to urgently come to our rescue before it becomes too late for us. To use your good office to call on security agencies and operatives to come to our aid. To take up our issues and concerns with His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, in order to ameliorate the pain and the trauma of our people.
Speaker of the House, Ikunyo Wajigbani, in his resolution said the lawmakers will not relent in ensuring the safety of lives and properties of Rivers people.
An ad hoc committee will handle this petition and report back to the House. The security of lives and property for our people is key and is part of the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy. So it will be proper that an ad hoc committee be set up to look at the petition. And the ad hoc committee will be headed by a member representing Gokana, Mao, the Honorable Mao, as chairman.
Meanwhile, Commissioner-designate Zacchaeus Adango said efforts are being made to sanitize the Department of Public Prosecution in the Rivers State Ministry of Justice. Adango stated this during the screening exercise at the Rivers State House of Assembly. While assuring that the effort being made is in the interest of the state, the Anthony Bond lawyer promised to address all legal issues affecting the people in Rivers State.
We needed an urgent situation where a team of lawyers, dedicated committed lawyers, will attend to this pending backlog of requests for legal advice. It is not called a task force. That's my own language. That committee is called Special Committee on Legal Advice. We had a lot of allegations against staff of the DPP office. How do I compromise? How perhaps litigants deal with cases administratively. And so as a Attorney General, I have a responsibility to the state to ensure that those legal opinions are well founded both in law and in fact. And that is my overriding consideration. And that is precisely what I undertook to do.
Correspondent Victor Ezema reports earlier, the Speaker of the House, Ikunyo Wajigbani, confirmed Isaac Kamalu and Zacchaeus Adango as commissioner designates after they were drilled by lawmakers.
Dr. Zacchaeus Adango, a nominee screened for appointment as commissioner and member of Rivers State Executive Council, is hereby confirmed by this House. If you have the opinion that Honorable Isaac Kamalu, a nominee screened for appointment as commissioner and member of the Rivers State Executive Council, be confirmed by this House, can you indicate by raising your hand? Those for 21, against, nil, abstention, nil.
Adango and Kamalu are the first set of commissioners to be nominated by Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike. 32-year-old Debo Ogundoyin has emerged as the Speaker of the 9th Oyo State House of Assembly. Ogundoyin, who is the lawmaker representing Ibarapa East constituency, was elected unopposed with the unanimous vote of the 32-member assembly. The second-term lawmaker, who is a member of the People's Democratic Party, was elected shortly after the state governor, Seyi Makinde, inaugurated the assembly. In the same vein, 33-year-old Abok Ayuba, a final year student of the University of Jos, also emerged as Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly. Ayuba, representing Jos East State constituency, is a member of the All Progressive Congress and a law student of the University of Jos. DAC Communications PLC, owners of AIT and Ray Power, have decided to withdraw its suit against the National Broadcasting Commission (NBC) over their suspended broadcasting license. The media organization took the decision after resolving its differences with the NBC. President of the Newspapers Proprietors Association of Nigeria, Nduka Obaigbena, confirmed this in a statement made available to the media in Abuja. Obaigbena said Ismaila Funtua, former president of NPAN, and Sam Amuka, publisher of Vanguard newspaper, were among those who attended the meeting which held last night. On the foreign scene, reports have it that nearly 100 people have been killed in an attack in a village in central Mali inhabited by the Dogon ethnic group. According to sources, the attack happened in Sobaneku, close to Sanga town in central Mali. A local official said the bodies of the dead have been burned and the search for more bodies is ongoing. There have been numerous attacks in Mali in recent months, some ethnic and others carried out by jihadist groups. Clashes between Dogon hunters and semi-nomadic Fulani herders are frequent. Sudanese workers are refusing to go to work in an attempt to pressurize the ruling military government to make way for civilian rule. The opposition called for a campaign of civil disobedience, including a national strike, which began on Sunday. BBC reports that most shops, markets, and banks in the capital, as well as in several other cities, remained closed on Monday as staff followed instructions from the Sudanese Professionals Association, the pro-democracy opposition, to not attend work. A bus carrying 40 people has crashed into several cars, killing at least 17 people in southeast Brazil. The fire brigade in the Campos de Jordão area told AFP that the accident was caused when the bus overturned hitting other vehicles. Media reported at least 17 deaths, and a video shot by a witness shows a car involved in the accident turned into a tangled mass of scrap metal. About 41 people died on Brazil's roads in 2016, according to estimates in the World Health Organization's 2018 Global Road Safety Reports. Singer Davido and his record label artist Peruzzi have apologized to a Twitter influencer, Pamilerin Adegoke, who was allegedly assaulted by Peruzzi on Sunday. Since news of the incident broke, Twitter has been agog with reactions to the alleged assault on the social media influencer. Davido, however, has taken to his verified Twitter handle to apologize to Pamilerin, saying Peruzzi was wrong for putting his hands on him, but pleaded with fans to realize that artists are human beings and are sensitive too. Peruzzi has also apologized on Twitter too to the general public for slapping Pamilerin, admitting that he allowed his feelings get the better of him, adding that he was very sorry. Super Falcons coach Thomas Denneby has said his team must live up to expectations when they battle South Korea on Wednesday in Grenoble at the ongoing 2019 Women's World Cup in France. The Falcons must beat the Asians to stand any chance of advancing from Group A after they were thrashed 3-0 by Norway in their opening game on Saturday. France currently leads Group A after a 4-0 victory over Korea on Friday. Norway are second, while Nigeria and Korea Republic occupy third and fourth places respectively. Meanwhile, Super Eagles coach Janot Raw has dropped Kelechi Iheanacho and Semi Ajayi from his final 23-man squad for the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt. According to a tweet from the official handle of Nigerian Football Federation, Raw also named 20 debutants in his squad for the tournament, which holds from June 21 to July 19 in Egypt. The three-time African champions will play the Teranga Lions of Senegal in their final friendly on June 16 in Ismaili, and then go ahead to battle Burundi, Madagascar, and Guinea in Group B of the competition. To end the news, here's a summary of the major stories. President Muhammadu Buhari has signed the Public Holiday Amendment Bill into law. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has blamed the federal government for the current state of the Nigerian economy. We also told you that the Rivers State House of Assembly has set up a committee to investigate incidents of pirate attacks on the Bile waterways in Degema, local government area of the state. On the foreign scene, you heard that rampaging gunmen have killed over 90 villagers in an overnight raid in a Malian community. That was the news as edited by Victor Eziama. For comments and inquiries, please call 0815-341-8657 or 0814-434-3502, or send your emails to news@todayfmlive.com. You can also read our stories on www.todayfmlive.com. I am Kala Dakaru Batsbo. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned to Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Here we stand as a people with
Unity House presents June 12 lecture. Theme: National Security, Beyond Power, Politics and Passion. Topic of discussion: insecurity is bigger than recession and a bigger threat to democracy. Date: Wednesday, 12th June 2019. Time: 10 a.m. Venue: Hotel Presidential, Atlantic Hall. Guest lecturer: Professor Ehosa Osage. Discussant: Timi K. Ogoriba. Ibiba Okunye, and Professor Eme Ikekwe, under the distinguished chairmanship of Professor Nelson Brambaifa, MD, Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. Program consultants, Professor Steve Okodudu, Dr. Ovunda Ihunwo, and Celestine Akobari.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the... This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
Yeah, good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Soccer Nation, the best 15 minutes of football you can find anywhere on radio. It's your Superman in the world of sports, the man who can never leave football for snowball, Wisdom Obina. And I'm set to fly you through the ever exciting world of football. All right, straight we kick off with the MPFL. I tell you earlier today, it would be injustice if I don't start with that. There was a show of shame, I tell you, in Lagos. Now, this is what actually happened. Super Sports, a DSTV channel, decided to broadcast, of course, in partnership with the LMC, of course, and the LMC decided to broadcast the MPFL playoffs match day 4. That is today. And the first game had Enugu Rangers against Kano Pillars. It ended 1-1. But that's not the whole story. At some point, towards the end of that game, the referee gave a call which, according to the fans, and even Rabiu Ali of Kano Pillars, they didn't deem it to be good enough. And the fans invaded the pitch. I wish I could show you the video, but it was terrible, I tell you. A show of shame, if you ask me, because the whole world was actually watching that one. It's still live for the second game. They actually plan to show all the games, at least till match day 5, which is, of course, the last match day of the MPFL season. Just before me is Aqua United against Lobby Stars. It's goalless as we speak. That game is in the 45th minute. Just some seconds to extra time and probably half time, as the case may be. But of course, the first game ended 1-1. Later on tonight by 7 p.m., it will be Enyimba coming up against FC Fanyu. But just in case you want to see that one, you can also just, if you have maybe cable TV or does DSTV, you could pick up that one and see it's live on TV. But basically, the first game was sort of a show of shame. The whole world was watching that one. You could go to YouTube and see if you can see that video. It was terrible, I tell you, to actually see. But let's move straight to other matters, especially here in the local scene. Now, the Super Eagles are the list for the players who are going to be going to the AFCON. That's they're already in Egypt as we speak. It actually came out in the weekend, and as we speak, they are already in Egypt, and they've had their first training session. That's the three-time African champions, talking about Nigeria. They conducted their first training session since arriving Egypt. That's the Egyptian city of Ismaila. They arrived earlier this morning. They've conducted their first training right there. And at the airport to receive them earlier today was Emmanuel Oguntoyi, Minister at the Embassy of Nigeria, Cairo, and Muhammad Tukor Garba, Administrative Attaché, who represented the Nigerian ambassador to the Arab Republic of Egypt. The Super Eagles had their first training session at the training pitch located within the premises of their hotel Mercure at 5 p.m. Egypt time. That's it was actually 4 p.m. Nigerian time. They did do that training. A number of technical and tactical sessions are scheduled for this week before the Eagles go up against Senegal's Teranga Lions on Sunday evening in the final friendly match before the finals. That's the final preparatory game right there before the main final actually kicks off. Meanwhile, coach of the side, talking about Gernot Rohr, he has actually come out to explain why he decided to drop Kelechi Iheanacho. Just in case you're not aware, 2 players were dropped from the original provisional 25-man list. Those 2 players are Shemi Ajayi of Rotherham in England, and of course, another England-based player, Kelechi Iheanacho. And Kelechi Iheanacho's lack of confidence was a factor in his exclusion. That's according to Gernot Rohr. Now, the Leicester City striker was one of the 2 players, along with Shemi, as I told you, to be cut from the squad. Named as Gernot Rohr named his 23 players that will be heading to the tournament in Egypt later this month. Ross said his decision rested on the fitness and confidence of the available players, with the German coach opting for less experienced strikers like Charleroi Victor Osimhen and Midtjylland's Paul Onuachu. The question will keep going on and on, but I'm sure a lot of people are comfortable with this final list. Kelechi Iheanacho being dropped. Some others are still saying just maybe some other player could have made it out instead of maybe Shemi Ajayi. Leon Balogun has not been seeing game time in his club, Brighton and Hove Albion. But of course, the coach is really very happy with the partnership of Balogun and maybe Trust Ekong, as the case may be. But just before we get to leave the local scene, a little of this game we are seeing right here. It's the first half, and we are also seeing players trying to crowd the referee. I'm sure nothing negative will come out of this one. But just a quick tip on this one before we move straight to the international scene. I think it's a terrible thing, a terrible representation, if you ask me, that we get to put ourselves in this bad light. Now, we've not had our games on TV for months, even going to years, if you want to look at it that way, ever since Super Sports decided to cancel out the partnership with Nigerian football, to show some of our games live on TV. And the first time it's going on air, we have this show of shame. I want to believe it's not an everybody thing, but this kind of attitude being presented in a stadium as big as the Agege Stadium in Lagos. It's not just a mushroom stadium. It's a stadium in the largest city in the country. And of course, the whole world was watching. You need to see those videos, people running shirtlessly, and it leaves a lot to be desired, I tell you. But of course, this is Nigeria. We hope it's going to get better. But I tell you, it's not best way to rip. No matter the decision, no matter what infuriates you when referees go out to make some of these calls, nothing prompts you to take laws into your hands. We've seen in Europe when, of course, calls are made that are terribly wrong calls. The teams have to wait till after the game to actually take it to the football authorities for them to make a decision, and not you taking laws into your hands. But of course, let's leave more of the negative and move straight to Europe. All right, straight we stop off in England, and it's been not really a bad time for England because, of course, they managed to finish third in the playoffs right there. They did beat the Swiss national team on penalties. 6-5 it ended. Jordan Pickford among the penalty takers. He also managed to save one, I tell you, in that game. Meanwhile, of course, Cristiano Ronaldo and his Portuguese team, yes, they were able to pick the first edition of the Europa Nations League. Some call it glorified friendly. Some call it just a qualification tournament. But, of course, they were able to actually pick that one for the first time for the records. It's the first time the Euro Nations League is getting to the final, and of course Portugal did win that one 1-0. It ended between them and the Netherlands side. Meanwhile, just coming out from that game, Matthias de Ligt, a Netherlands defender, Matthias de Ligt, said he was asked about a move to Italian champions Juventus by Cristiano Ronaldo at the end of Sunday's National League final. Ronaldo's Portugal triumphed 1-0 in the showpiece match, leaving 19-year-old defender de Ligt, who is widely expected to leave Ajax in the coming weeks, disappointed. But television images showed Juve forward Ronaldo having a chat with the centre-half at the end of the game, and the Dutchman confirmed a possible move to the Italian side had been raised by the 5-time Ballon d'Or winner. Now, this is what he said, and I quote, "I didn't understand him at first. I was a little shocked, so I laughed, but I didn't say anything. De Ligt told Netherlands television. So soon after the game, you are not at all concerned with it. You are disappointed that you have lost, and that's the only thing you're thinking about. De Ligt's impressive performances for Ajax in their run to the Champions League finals have made him one of the most wanted signatures in the transfer window. But the defender said he had yet to make up his mind over his future and was in no hurry to do so. This is what he said, and I quote, "I don't mind that. The transfer period starts in a while. So I'll first go on vacation, a nice vacation and rest, and I'll let it happen, and then I'll see." Who's going to capture Matthias de Ligt? We actually wait to see. It's been rumored he's going to go to Barcelona. Some say he's going to go to Madrid, Juventus, or even Manchester United, or, of course, Virgil van Dijk joining him to Liverpool. We'll wait to see how that one pans out in the coming days. Of course, Eden Hazard, it's no longer news that he's now a Madridistan. Eden Hazard and Real Madrid, of course, are a perfect fit. This is according to Belgian coach Roberto Martinez. Now, Real confirmed the signing of Hazard on a 5-year contract from Chelsea on Friday, and he will be officially unveiled at the Bernabeu on Thursday, June 13th. Hazard had 1 year remaining on his Chelsea contract, but said it was his dream to play for Real. And Belgium boss Martinez believes the forward will be a perfect fit for the Spanish Giants. This is what he said. Let me just quote him a little. He said, "For Real Madrid, they are getting a phenomenal footballer, and for Eden, there couldn't have been too many new chapters in his career. He always said he was feeling at home at London with Chelsea, so probably it was the only place that he could have gone, and the place where he always had the dream of going." Of course, Hazard said, of course, it's been a dream for him ever since he was a kid to actually play for Real Madrid. Meanwhile, Manchester United's troubled transition from Sir Alex Ferguson to David Moyes in the summer of 2013, which has left a lasting impression, was akin to trying to charge an iPhone with a Nokia charger. This is according to Anders Lindgaard, their former player. The Red Devils had known for a while that iconic coach Ferguson would be heading into retirement as they chased down what was then to be their 13th Premier League title. Fellow Scot Moyes was the man charged with the task of succeeding Ferguson, but he would last only a matter of months before seeing a long-term contract ripped up. Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho have gone on to endure similar struggles at Old Trafford, with neither able to awaken a sleeping giant and return it to his feet. And of course, the former player, talking about Lingard, former United goalkeeper that is, said, and I quote, he said, "It seemed like trying to charge an iPhone with a Nokia charger. It just slowly went flat." Hey, who was ever going to lift the club after the boss, Ferguson? Moyes and everyone with big influence on United have all been easy targets, and I refuse to be another one pointing at individuals. Every time the team has had a single bad result, I've heard suggestions for new managers getting rid of half the team and signing new players. I imagine it isn't easy to work under those circumstances. I'll point at myself and everyone else involved with United, both on a professional and emotional level. We're all to blame. Andy Lingard right there saying it's a blame that should be shared by everyone in United. I don't know, but some say it's Ed Woodward. The fingers keep being pointed at different figures in Manchester United. But of course, the new season is coming very soon, and we'll get to see if they would be able to do something different. Talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in his first full season in charge of the side. Meanwhile, France boss Didier Deschamps has confirmed that Mendy has joined Real Madrid. That's French manager Didier Deschamps. Ferland Mendy, yes, that he had joined Real Madrid. The Lyon man has been heavily linked with a move to the Spanish capital after the Los Blancos poor showing in 2018-2019. And speaking at the press on Monday, Deschamps said that a £50 million transfer, €50 million transfer has been agreed between Ligue 1 club Lyon and Real Madrid. Another signing right there for Real Madrid. And just before we move to the transfer tidbits, our own Nigeria, they were involved in the World Cup, talking about the FIFA Women's World Cup that is holding right there in France. And they did lose their first game, just in case you missed that one. 3-0 it ended. They were beating soundly in that one. Their group opponents, talking about France and South Korea, also played out a 4-0 scoreline. France beating South Korea. And we will be taking on South Korea on Wednesday. We hope to see how we fare in that one. But the coach of the side is optimistic. Talking about Thomas Dennerby, he's saying that they would never give up until the very end, insisting anything can happen in football. This is what is another question. When it comes to sports, never ever give up. We have to fight for 180 minutes and more plus added time. A game can change in the last minute. So we'll work very hard for it, and I can promise that we'll never give up. With the team I saw against Norway, well, anything could actually happen in football, I tell you. But let's move to some transfer tidbits before we run out of the studio. Manchester United will give Spain goalkeeper David De Gea £20 million if the 28-year-old leaves for Paris Saint-Germain this summer. Rumors, I tell you, nothing really concrete. United have had a £40 million bid for England under 21 defender Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who's 21, rejected by Crystal Palace. The Eagles want closer to £60 million. Meanwhile, Benfica president Luis Felipe Vieira has considered that João Felix, who's 19 years of age, could leave the club this summer amid strong interest in the midfielder from Manchester United. Meanwhile, Manchester City have offered Felix a contract worth £26 million. That's João Felix. Meanwhile, Arsenal boss Unai Emery has held talks with PSG and Belgium right back Thomas Meunier, who's 27 years of age, over a possible move to the Gunners. Meanwhile, Man City midfielder David Silva will get a testimonial match at Etihad Stadium next year. The Spanish playmaker's contract expires next year, and he wants to end his career at Las Palmas in his native Gran Canaria. Meanwhile, Tottenham will bid for Fulham and England on the 21 winger Ryan Sessegnon, who's 19 years of age this summer. Chelsea have revived their interest in Bayer Leverkusen and Jamaican winger Leon Bailey, who's 21 years of age, but must wait to see if their transfer ban is overturned before making a move. Meanwhile, Manchester United have begun drawing up a list of potential replacements for Paul Pogba. Tottenham's Christian Eriksen, who's 27, and Monaco's Yuri Tielemans are being considered to fill the void of the French midfielder. That's if he leaves. And meanwhile, Arsenal are interested in Fiorentina's Jordan Veretout, who's 26 years of age, but the former French under-21 midfielder is already in talks with Napoli. Newcastle and Southampton have made bids for Mainz and French under-21 striker Jean-Philippe Mateta, who is also wanted by, of course, Juventus right there. Meanwhile, Arsenal want to sign Saint-Etienne's French defender William Saliba, who's 18 years of age, but the Ligue 1 club side would want to loan him back next season. Ajax and Netherlands defender Matthias Delis, I told you earlier, says Cristiano Ronaldo actually asked him if he would be joining Juventus. And on that note, we call it a wrap on today's edition of Soccer Nation. The best 15 minutes of football, I tell you, you can get anywhere on radio. It's your Superman in the world of sports, Wisdom Obina. And of course, as always, I would end up with this line, still on what happened in Lagos. I know a lot will come out in the coming days, but as Nigerians, we should try our best to give our best wherever we are found. Understand one thing, that our character and attitude actually tells of who we are to the rest of the world. Go out tonight and have for yourself, as I will always say, a football field evening. And keep it locked on this dial, I tell you. The show makes a return same time, same station tomorrow.
Good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
95.1 FM, voice of the people.
And we're back.
Past the hour of 7. It is the 10th day of the month of June 2019. My name is Buchi Rafua. I welcome you to this very interesting episode of Area Talk here on Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. And of course, it's a wonderful day and it's always a privilege to be here on Area Talk. I trust you had a swell day. I trust your weekend went perfectly well. I trust things are working out for you. And I trust you have so many positive feedback for me here today on the program. I'd love to hear each and every one of them. In case you wonder what we do here on Area Talk, we actually talk about things happening in our area. It's that simple. You call in, you give your eyewitness reports on what you got to witness during the course of the weekend or during the course of your day. You call in, you share with us, and whatever you feel is newsworthy and you'd love the entire public to be aware of, you could call in and share with us. But most importantly, it's an eyewitness report show that you get to call in. You get to be the journalist, the reporter here on Area Talk. Like I said, my name is Buchi Rafua. I would be your host for the evening, and we will be talking about basically everything, most of the things happening in the South. It's always a privilege to be here. Meanwhile, over the weekend, Sunday particularly, that's yesterday, on my way out of the studio, on my way home from the studio, I went through Bolu. And, it was drizzling yesterday, but it didn't rain like rain. And I really don't know if the rain got to Bolu, the one that poured on Saturday. I don't know if it got to Bolu. But that place was like deadlock. You cannot move. I was there for some hours. An hour or so. Okay, it wasn't up to an hour, Sha. But I was there for more than 30 minutes. That's the point. And it's not like it rained heavily as like yesterday. Today it was a bit cleared and it was looking, a bit normal. But I really wonder what we are doing about it. Federal level, state level, is nobody saying anything about it? If those at the federal level, I'm sure they have representatives in every state that look into issues like this. What is happening? Umpolo needs maintenance. It needs to be worked on. It needs urgent attention. The other time there was some I don't know what to call it, but someone lost his life there because of the issue of that, the state of that road. We're back to the raining season and it's like nobody is doing anything or nobody's saying anything. I really hope that very soon, something is being done about that road. It's not just Bolu Road. There are 1,000,001 other places that needs government attention. So many of them. Meanwhile, I was talking to some family friends of mine and they were narrating their experiences. She actually went to look for a teaching job and, it's not directly from the school, but there was some person sourcing for workers for that particular school. And that person asked her to pay certain amounts of money just so he can fix her name. This is someone that is well qualified and the rest of it. Although I know the federal government is working on something to recruit all qualified teachers into the system. But then, this is something that happened some months back. She was sharing it with me today. And it now brought me back to the issue of corruption in Nigeria. There are so many things. When it comes to corruption, so many persons will point their hands to the government, federal, state, local level, any politician. They feel like they are all corrupt. Meanwhile, corruption is actually within each and every one of us. You like it or not, one way or the other, you've done something that is actually corrupt. And then I asked myself, and I asked everybody around me as at then, the question was, can we ever fight corruption? Like, can we fight corruption to the extent that it is completely and totally eradicated from our system? Is that possible? Because it's not just something in government, it's something in everybody. And you see some children, even in our schools, we get reports here on Area Talk where people send in messages that their children are being asked to pay certain amounts of money just so they would be able to write a particular exam or not. People are being asked to pay certain amounts of money so they can get a job. Meanwhile, they are well qualified. People are being asked to pay certain amounts of money so they can access to pay. The worst part is that you're going to pay for a particular bill, and then let's say the queue is so long, someone will tell you, give me such this particular amount so I can move you forward to pay a bill. You are paying for it, but you are paying to pay the bill. There's so many things going on and so many things happening, and the issue of corruption, I think it's something each and every one of us should start looking at and trying to see ways to tackle it. Meanwhile, there's this article, Strategies for Winning the Fight Against Corruption, that was given by Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala sometime in January. And I'll quote that corruption and poor governance are key factors holding back Africa's development, or notions deeply embedded in the literature and thoughts on Africa's socio-economic development. What is not so common is discourse and success stories about how to systematically fight this corruption. Though these may sound discouraging, I can tell you from my experience that it is indeed possible to fight corruption successfully with the right knowledge, patience, and commitment to transparency. And it went further to say, to fight corruption, we must understand it. Underline the various forms of corruption. She made mention of grand, political, and administrative, which include public resources transfers to private entities, allocation of public resources to political allies, and misuse of public funds. They noted that those are the three important factors. That's what she had to say. And I think some lady, I can't recall, but I know there was something they said. Yes. The chief executive officer of World Bank, she said something one time, and she said a lack of transparency fuels corruption, a corrosive force that hits the poor and the vulnerable the hardest. In the most fragile corners of the world, corruption undermines work to bring stability or prevents violence and extremism from taking roots. We know bad governance is one of the four major drivers of poverty, alongside conflict and violence, unchecked population growth, and the effects of climate change and natural disaster. Fighting corruption is the key to building trust in government, and it is also an essential ingredient for robust and sustainable economic growth. Would it be right to say we are at this stage we're in right now because of corruption in our system, not just in our governments, in every system, every system? But how do we work with this? How do we fight it? Or how do we tackle issues like this? If you think you have something to say regards this, I would really love to hear from you and get your thoughts on this issue of corruption in Nigeria. Meanwhile, it seems like some kidnappers have taken theirs to the next level. Something happened in Edo State, but you get the full gist shortly. I'm opening the phone lines now. You could call in and share your eyewitness reports and what you think, what's happening so far in your community. Don't forget, we'll talk about things happening in the south, but if it's something that happened close to us, probably Imo, Onitsha, and the rest of it, you could... Did I say Onitsha? No, Abba. You could actually call in and share your eyewitness reports with us. But if you don't feel the presence of government, this is a platform given to each and every one of us to express our concerns, to share our thoughts, to share our experiences, to share basically everything. If you feel it's something that should be out there, probably water system, drainages, electricity, what have you, call in and share with us. 95.1 FM. Good evening. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you, Buchi. How are you?
Very well, Salowes. Good to have you.
Thank you very much. First of all, everybody is focusing on corruption. What about attitudinal change, our attitude? You see, Buchi, what happened this evening, very pathetic, because I called it, after discussion, the guy is based in Chicago.
Okay.
So I told him, so he's a lover of football. So I told him, look, our league, our sixth league is going on. So if you tune, you can watch, And after watching, he called me, he said, look at some section of the country wants to bring this country into this report. If you see what happened for Agege Stadium tonight, the whole world is watching. People want to be like they are the all and all in Nigeria. Without them, whatever they say will happen, even though they are wrong. I mean, it's a pathetic thing, People just claim that they are not of Nigeria, but the rest part of the country are nonsense. Those are the people bringing shame to this country. Can you tell me the country where they are still carrying Nama, wandering along the highway, is happening in Nigeria? Nobody is talking about it. They are using corruption to deceive, and they are swimming in the ocean of corruption. It's a very pathetic story, honestly.
So are you now saying we don't? Okay, Salowes, I lost you there. But are you saying we don't need to fight the corruption itself? Because as much as you're talking about our attitude, for some persons, they would feel that's actually one way we could actually start tackling the issue of corruption. But I don't see a reason why you would want to rule out corruption completely, because that's actually what is, well, probably part of those reasons why we are where we are today. I didn't give out the phone lines just in case you don't have it or you need it. It's 0817 0000951 or 0810 9510951. And you could also send a text message or a WhatsApp message to the number 0701 933 9962. 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, my sister. Hello?
Yeah, good evening. Welcome. It's Area Talk.
I know. My name is George. I'm calling from Nemo local government area.
All right, George. Good to have you on the program. Go ahead, please.
My sister, it is better for us to tackle corruption because if you go to all the institutions, even the family houses and everything, corruption has eaten everything. So it is better for us to tackle it. First, let us start from the political class. Understand me?
Mm-hmm.
So that is the only way. Political class.
Starting from the...
Look at China. Do you know what is happening in China? If you pick from China's coffee, the money, if they go to jail, no matter how status you are, whether you are the president, they find you wanting of anything, they must get you arrested and you must be jailed. So I want that law to be applicable to Nigerian system. So that is just it. And secondly, to my area talk this evening is about a community called Drumodogo community in Odeg clan, all in Emwa local government area.
Mm-hmm.
Please, there is crisis in that community as I'm talking to you.
Crisis?
Yes, the information that is just on my table now